We're now going on the record, and we have 4 cases this morning, and we have case 831543, pages 1 through 22, with us Hunwardsen versus Affinity Lifestyles. We have Reicht, R-I-C-H-T, versus Affinity Lifestyles, which is case 831880, pages 23 to 45. King versus Real Water, 833630, pages 46 to 49. And Henry versus Affinity Lifestyles, 844176, pages 50 to 52. Counsel, the easiest way realistically to do your appearances, so we don't have to have multiple appearances on each of these 4 cases, I am going to address these cases independently, but when you make your appearances, please state your name, the party or parties you represent, and which of the 4 cases you're on, or if you're on all 4, then just say the 4 names rather than me doing this 4 times. I will really realize efficiency. So we're going to start Hunwardsen. Okay, let's start with counsel on behalf of plaintiff, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Eric Pepperman for plaintiffs. I represent the plaintiffs in Hunwardsen, Richt, and Henry.
And Henry, not King, correct, counsel?
No, not King, correct.
Okay. So I'm just going to, so let's go next to Affinity Lifestyles. We have here in court. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Joel Odou on behalf of AffinityLifestyles.com, Inc., doing business as Real Water, Inc., and also Real Water Tennessee. Myself and my associate represent them in all 4 cases, King, Hunwardsen, Rich, and Henry. My associate will now introduce herself to the court.
Thanks.
Good morning, Your Honor. Kristen Schwingler. I represent AffinityLifestyles.com, Inc., DBA Real Water, and Associate Counsel in Missouri.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much. Mr. Spurlock, since you're here in court, we're going to do next. I want to do the remote ones. Go
Good
ahead.
morning, Your Honor. David Spurlock, bar number 2565. I represent WFM Southern Nevada, Whole Food Markets in all 4 cases.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, Hannah Instruments. Have anyone Hannah Instruments? No.
Sure, Your Honor. Scott Rasmussen on behalf of Hannah Instruments, all 4 cases.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Milwaukee Instruments.
Good morning, Your Honor. Rob Robbins, 6109, for Milwaukee Instruments, all 4 cases.
Appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Okay. So with regards to Hunwardsen, anybody else need to make an appearance who's not yet made an appearance?
Good morning, Your Honor. Michael Melendez, 6741, on behalf of ETT1, doing business as Terrible Herbs, Hunwardsen only.
Okay, appreciate it. Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. Colt Dodville, bar number 9000, counsel for Nevada Beverage Company in Hunwardsen and Richt matters.
Good morning, Your Honor. Michael Federico for Costco in Hunwardsen and Richt. We filed our remote appearance notices on October 25th, 2022.
Thanks so much. Yeah, we saw the remote appearances. Appreciate that heads up.
Good morning.
Go ahead, counsel.
Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. Good morning, Jacqueline Franco, bar number 13484, on behalf of Albertsons and the Hunwardsen matter.
Okay.
And good morning, Your Honor. Jim Neal, also on behalf of UNFW and Whole Foods in all 4 cases. Pro Hoc Vice.
Right, you're Pro Hoc Vice. Okay. I should have one more Pro Hoc Vice, counsel, right? Okay, maybe not. Okay. So does that take care of Hunwardsen? So what I'm going to do next is let's go through the status of Hunwardsen, and then when I go to the next case, we'll deal with the other attorneys that are on other cases, and that will get all taken care of. We're doing Hunwardsen first because, well, as you know from the last status check, and as you all know, it is of the 4 cases that are active in this department. It is the first one that was filed, has the lowest number, so it has your first trial date. Between when we saw you last and now, it looks like there's lots of filings being done, but so why don't you give us a status update? Affinity, do you want to go first, and then we'll go to plaintiffs, and then we'll circle around for anybody else? Go ahead, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Joel Odou on behalf of AffinityLifestyles.com, Inc. and the Real Water entities. In Hunwardsen and the other cases, all parties have met with Special Master Hale. The plaintiffs in Real Water have reached an agreement on a proposed case management order. That order proposes dates for discovery, including close of discovery, expert discovery, rebuttal, opinions, dispositive motions, and recommended motions of limine. The case management orders, we only reached agreement very recently. That letter was served on Friday. Basically what we did, Your Honor, was we met and conferred. There were things that we did not agree upon, and those will have to be addressed in a subsequent order, such as how to proceed in a Zoom deposition was one of the things that we just couldn't, in the time that we had, get it hammered out. However, like I said, there are proposed case management orders that have gone to Mr. Hale in all 4 cases. Plaintiff E served a letter on Friday, December 2nd at 11:09 a.m. And we are in complete agreement with that letter that was E served on Friday. Obviously, that wasn't enough time for the other parties to chime in as to their agreement. And so our recommendation would be the court to hold this matter and the other matters in abeyance. Presumably, Mr. Hale will enter the orders as proposed within the next day or two. There have been no objections so far, but that is the status. In addition, depositions have been noticed and are set to commence next week in the cases.
I appreciate it. Okay, so for each of those CMOs, they're consistent with the trial dates that were given at the last hearing, consistent with
Yes, they are.
the council? Okay, so you just work backwards.
Yes, Your Honor, we worked backwards from that, and as I said, there are certain deadlines that we understand the court proposes. We put in recommendations for those deadlines.
Okay, is it proposed, whoever please once again just remote, we have somebody's not still on mute, so just so I can get a clear record for all of y'all. Does those CMOs that I have not yet seen also include status checks for the court, like a series, because we talked about doing a series of status checks?
Yes, they do, Your Honor. If the court would like, I can run through all the dates.
I'll see the CMO. I just wanted to make sure that that is included. What I am also going to ask, and to the extent that this is not currently in the CMO, and I can reach out to Special Master Hale, but I want to make sure there's no objection from any of the parties, is realistically, what we've done in many of these complex cases and been very helpful is to get a couple of pages status report before the status check. So it gives an update on really where you're at, what needs to be handled at the status checks. We can make it as efficient for each of the parties. And so usually it's just a couple pages. And for those of you who are on the opioid cases and the baby food cases, you probably already know this because we're doing it in those, and it makes sense to do it here. Any objection by real water and related areas?
No objection, Your Honor. It is in the proposed language of the case management order that 2 days before a status check, there will be a written status report submitted to the court.
Okay, perfect. That's what we can just make it clean and clear for each of these. Okay, and we have no removal issues on any of these cases, nor do we have any bankruptcy issues that I need to address on Hunwardsen. I'll go case by case on those 2 issues, right?
We do not, Your Honor. I do have a question for the court. The status checks were set at 9 a.m. If the court prefers they be at 8:30 a.m., we can make that amendment.
Since these are designated as business court Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8:30, it's my business court.
We will get that fixed.
Thanks, yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Okay, so let's go to Plaintiffs' Counsel. Your position, we start with Hunwardsen if you want to do globally, and then we can circle back just on other ones if they're distinct in each of the other cases. Go ahead, please. Mr. Pepperman, will you speak on behalf?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Eric Pepperman for plaintiffs in Hunwardsen, Rick, and Henry. I concur with everything Mr. Odou just said. The only thing we need to change is the status check dates and times to match the 8:30 Tuesday, Thursday schedule, which we can do today.
Okay, anything else you need to address from plaintiff's side on Hunwardsen?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm going to go around once and let's see. First thing I ask here in court, any additional issues with regards to today's status check on Hunwardsen that anyone here in court needs addressed? Mr.
No, Your Honor. No,
Mr. Spurlock on behalf of Whole Foods.
we have nothing, Your Honor.
Okay, I just need you to remember to state your name and the parties you represent each time, just because there's so many of them.
David Spurlock, Whole Foods, we have nothing to add, Your Honor.
Okay, so let's go remotely. Does Hannah Instruments have anything to add?
Nothing, Your Honor. We concur with everything that's been said. Thank you.
Thank you, and that was
Scott
Mr.
Rasmussen.
Go ahead. I need your name, Mr. Rasmussen, sorry.
I thought I said Scott Rasmussen, bar number 6100.
Thank you so much. On behalf of Milwaukee Instruments.
Rob Robbins from Milwaukee, nothing further to add here.
On behalf of Costco.
Michael Federico for Costco, 5946, nothing to add, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, well, other than me finishing off the rest of the names, does anyone else have anything to add on Hunwardsen that they'd like to be heard on this? It's everyone's status check, so please let me know. No? Okay. And I'm going to view Hunwardsen completed for the status check. I'm now going to go to Wright, which, as I stated, was 831880, pages 23 to 45. Appearances have already been stated on that. Does anyone come in late that needs to make an appearance on Wright that's not already made an appearance? So I got all those names, and I'm the only new here in court. Okay, so let's go back to Real Water with regards to Wright. Anything you'd like to say specifically to Wright, or just since these will be separate records, if there's anything you need to say so you make it clear that it's on the Wright case, let me know.
Thank you, Your Honor. Joel Odou, on behalf of Affinity and the Real Water entities. This case also has a proposed case management order with Floyd Hale. It has a discovery schedule. It will have status checks set on Tuesday or Thursday at 8:30 a.m. approximately every 120 days. And we anticipate that order will be sent to the court, recommended to the court shortly.
Okay, counsel for plaintiffs, Mr. Pepperman.
Eric Pepperman for plaintiffs and Rick. Nothing to add, Your Honor.
Okay, does any of the other parties in RICT wish to add anything? First here in court.
Your Honor, David Spurlock, 2565 for Whole Foods. We have nothing to add. We concur.
Okay, thank you. And remotely, does anyone have anything to add? I'm going to take silence, give you a moment. If I take silence, I'm going to say that that means no. Anyone wish to add anything?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Jim Kavanaugh for Real Water of Tennessee, LLC, as a third-party defendant. I am not in Hunwardsen, our firm is not. We're in the other three. Just want to make sure I'm on the record as appearing for that third-party defendant, Real Water of Tennessee, LLC.
Sure.
I'm
So,
in the other three. I'm not in Hunwardsen
okay, so you're in RICT,
so far.
King, and Henry, correct, Mr. Kavanaugh?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
So we got your appearances on that. Is there anything you wish to add with regards to status check on Wright?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Just so I'm pronouncing it correctly, is it Richt or Wright? I've heard both ways people say it. Counsel, someone give me the correct pronunciation. Counsel for plaintiffs, your client?
Eric Pepperman for plaintiffs. It's Rick, Your Honor.
Okay, Richt, okay, thank you. Okay, anybody else on Richt? No, okay, thank you so much. So now we go to King. King, I need an appearance on behalf of plaintiffs' counsel, please.
Morning, Your Honor. Danielle Miller, bar number 9127 on behalf of plaintiff Lisa King.
Okay, anybody not made an appearance yet that also needs to make an appearance that's either in King specifically and not anything else, or didn't have a chance? Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jacqueline Franco, bar number 13484, on behalf of Sprout in the King matter.
Okay, you're just in King, okay. Anybody else need to make an appearance? No. Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. Lorene Frister on behalf of Kihei Distributors Nevada, and I'm in King and Henry.
Okay, thank you so much. Anybody else? Look at that, all the boxes, there's nobody here in court. Okay, so now let's go to King. King, we'll do the same process. Counsel on behalf of Real Water entities, go ahead and then we'll go to the plaintiff and everybody else. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Joel Odou, on behalf of Affinity and the Real Water entities, a case management order has been proposed to the special master and agreed upon between plaintiffs and Real Water. We expect it will be sent to the court on a recommendation from Mr. Hale.
Okay, thank you. Counsel for plaintiffs, for King.
I have nothing else to add, Your Honor. That's correct. Danielle Miller on behalf of plaintiff Lisa King.
You're anticipating I was about to go there. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, do any of the other defendants or third-party defendants, or any other parties wish anything to add to King to make this a nice fruitful status check for you? Okay. Let's now then go to Henry. Henry is 844176, pages 50 to 52. And this is the last one, this is the latest thought. I know this is trailing a bit with the timing of some of this, but so for Henry, Counsel for Affinity.
Good morning, Your Honor. Joel Odou on behalf of Affinity and the Real Water entities. The case management order has been submitted to Mr. Hale, which will be submitted to the court, recommended for the court's execution. It covers all discovery issues and also sets forth status checks with this court.
Okay, Counsel for Plaintiffs, circling back to Henry, Mr. Pepperman.
Eric Pepperman for plaintiffs. I concur, nothing to add.
Okay, thank you. Does any other party wish to be heard with regards to the Henry matter?
Good morning again, Your Honor. Jacqueline Franco, bar number 13484, this time appearing on behalf of 7-Eleven in the Henry matter.
Thank you. And I believe
Thank you, Your Honor.
you have a co-counsel who's just observing, is that right? Did you need to?
Yes, Your Honor. Melissa Roos, unfortunately, is having some Zoom difficulties, and so her and I work the same firm, and I'm appearing in conjunction with her on behalf of 7-Eleven.
Okay, thank you. Okay, did
Thank you,
you
Your Honor.
wish to add anything on Henry?
No, I do not, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so that takes care of all four of these cases. Here's a question for each of the parties. Some of our cases, when there's been the very complex cases, there's been a request to do consistent with Supreme Court rule and administrative order instead of having to file audio-visual appearances for each and every hearing, and to do a stipulation for a limited period of time and setting forth that there is good cause. Is that something the parties might be interested in? If it is, feel free to talk with your colleagues in some of the other complex litigations in this department, and you can see how they did that, if the court can review it, if it's consistent with the Supreme Court rule, and it's consistent with the administrative order, and if that makes it efficient for you all, then let me know in a proposed stipulation. Stipulations and orders, just friendly reminder, because this happens sometimes in the complex cases, remember it does have to have all parties' signature, right, in accordance with the local rules, so please, even if you think you're having an agreement with one or two parties, please don't just submit with those one or two parties. Do need to have everyone representing, so have all the parties taken care of, so we can get that done. What also would be helpful, just to let you all know, is that as any of these cases change with regards to party representation, what we appreciate, and really you can be doing this in your status report, is just saying X party, if they are no longer in the case, resolved out, etc. Or if you're adding in, if in the intervening time we've had some pro hoc vice or other new counsel or substitutionary counsel, just add that to your status report for us. It just makes it a really handy one stop to look at some of those things rather than going through each and every one of these entries, okay? And remember, none of these cases are consolidated, so remember you have to file things in each of the cases as you need to do, even though for your all's convenience, and I should ask, you had requested previously that it just made sense to do all four of these cases for status check type hearings on the same date and time to the extent that that was available. Is that still the party's request? Is there any reason somebody wants me not to do that?
Yes, Your Honor. Joel Odou on behalf of Real Water. That is exactly the way we've set it up in the 4 case management orders, is all status checks are currently on the same dates.
I presume that was for, it makes sense, efficiency, and that you all want to do it, but realistically, if you all want to have each of your cases on different dates, you're technically entitled to. It's a matter of your time and everything. I'm always here, so, okay. Is there anything that I've not gone over specifically that any of the parties need the court to address? I'm going to just generally go to first, Real Water Affinity. Is there anything that's not yet been addressed that you need to address, counsel?
Joel Odou on behalf of Real Water Affinity. Nothing further. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Oh, Mr. Pepperman, on behalf of Hunwardsen, Wright, and Henry plaintiffs, anything you need to address that's not yet been discussed?
No, Your Honor, and I just once again apologize for my technical difficulties.
As long as we got this movie, it's just, you can appreciate just with everyone waiting, it takes a lot of time. Today, we set you all for special settings, we have the time to do so, but okay. Ms. Miller, on behalf of plaintiffs in King, anything that you would like addressed the status check that has not yet been addressed?
I have nothing to add, Your Honor. Thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you. Okay, any party who's not yet had an opportunity that now decided that there's something since last time I asked, would like something addressed, feel free. I'm going to ask first here in court, And if you don't need to stand up, just, if you stand up to your report, then I'll know you need to be heard. And remotely, if I see a little green box, you start to talk, then they need to be heard. Anything else from anyone here in court?
David Spurlock, we have a Whole Foods, nothing else, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Anyone on any of the parties that are on remotely on any of the 4 cases that you've thought of that needs to be addressed in status check that we can address for you? I'm not seeing any green boxes, not seeing anyone, I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Okay, well then in that regard, then all 4 status checks have been concluded. Thank you so very much. Hope everyone had a very nice Thanksgiving the other week and happy holidays till we see you next. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Off the record.
Thank you, Ron.